the science of spookiness. How infrasound mimics the paranormal. Have you ever walked into an old basement or a deserted building and felt an inexplicable sense of dread? While many might jump to conclusions about ghosts or restless spirits, science suggests the culprit might be much more grounded. Infrasound. New research indicates that these creepy sensations may actually be a biological response to low-frequency sounds that are below the threshold of human hearing. The invisible stressor. What is infrasound? Infrasound refers to sound waves with frequencies lower than 20 Hz, Hz. Because these waves are too low for the human ear to process as distinct sounds, we don't hear them in the traditional sense. Instead, they manifest as physical or emotional sensations. Common sources of infrasound include severe weather and storms, heavy traffic, vibrating plumbing and industrial machinery, the biological link. Cortisol and unease. A recent study published in Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience provides a compelling look at how these invisible waves affect the human body. Researchers conducted a controlled experiment where participants were exposed to 18 Hz infrasound while listening to music. The findings were striking. Increased stress. Participants exposed to infrasound showed significantly higher levels of cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, in their saliva. Emotional shifts. Regardless of the music playing, those exposed to infrasound reported feeling more irritated. Many also perceived the music as being sadder than it actually was. Unconscious detection. Interestingly, most participants could not consciously identify that they were being exposed to infrasound, even though their bodies were clearly reacting to it. Why our brains see ghosts if the sound is invisible and inaudible? Why does it lead to thoughts of the paranormal? Experts suggest this is a combination of evolutionary survival instincts and psychological misattribution. The evolutionary safety net, Dr. Aaron P. Brynan of Vanderbilt University, explains that our brains are hardwired for survival through caution. Evolution favors the individual who assumes a rustle in the bushes is a predator rather than just the wind. When the body detects a vague, invisible threat, like infrasound, the brain searches for a reason. Misattribution of arousal. Psychologists call this phenomenon misattribution of arousal. The body feels a physical spike in tension or anxiety, but because the source, the sound, is undetectable, the mind fills in the blanks. If that occurs in a context already primed for mystery, like an old, haunted building, the brain may interpret that unease through available cultural narratives about ghosts or presences. Dr. Thea Gallagher, NYU Langone Health. In short, we don't just imagine things. We feel a real physiological response and then use our cultural understanding ghosts, spies, or monsters to make sense of it. Is infrasound a hidden health risk? While short-term exposure to infrasound might just feel spooky, researchers are concerned about the implications of long-term exposure. If infrasound acts as a constant, invisible environmental stressor, it could contribute to chronic health issues. Prolonged elevation of cortisol is linked to sleep disruption and mood disturbances, impaired immune function, high blood pressure, digestive issues, and memory impairment. Conclusion: the sensation of being haunted may not be a supernatural event, but rather a biological reaction to invisible noise pollution. By reframing these experiences, science moves us away from superstition and toward a better understanding of how our environment silently shapes our mental and physical well-being.